in this video, we're going to be talking a little bit more about sum tables and how they relate to scatterplots, how we can take these values down here in a table and put them in a chart so it's easier to make sense and see how these are related. So we have our x and y values. This is the x, this is the y. It can also be written like this. You can have your x value, your y value. This is how we've seen it before in our previous lesson. So you could have 324, 661, 556, 115, and then 435 written like this. So you could also see it like this. This is just written horizontally rather than vertically. So what I want you to notice is that this is going to be our x-axis, so our x values will go along this axis, and then this axis right here, this is our y-axis, so our y values fall along that. With each of these, there's a pair that's ordered together, an x and y value. So in order to plot the data from the table into the graph, what we need to do is we need to take each of these ordered pairs and place them in here as a point. So we have 324. So what I would do is go down to the 3 on the x-axis and then go up to 24 on the y-axis, and that's where our point would be right there. Then we go 6, 61, so 6, and then go up to 61 and make a point right about there. 556, so 5 on the x-axis up to 56 on the y-axis. 115, so 1 on the y-axis, about 15 on the y-axis. 435, so 4 on the x-axis, 35 on the y-axis. So if you look at that, it kind of makes a line, not quite a line, but you can see the trend, as the wave height increases, the number of surfers increases. So if this question were to ask you, how are wave height and the number of surfers related, you could say, well, as wave height increases, as it goes up, so does the number of surfers also increases. So if we look at question B down here, how many surfers might be at the beach if the waves were 2 feet high? So if we kind of look at that line and where it passes, if I were to go to 2 and plot it on that line, we're looking at about 20 surfers. So the answer for this one would be 20 surfers. And we're estimating. On the test, it'll be multiple choice. So if it says 22 surfers is in one of the answer choices, you might put 22. You just want to get a range on this one. All right, so in this video, it already has our points plotted. So there's no chart, no table with this one. It just says that the scatter plot shows the number of lawns mowed by a local lawn care business during 1 week. So again, this even has our X and Y axis labeled for us. So we have days worked on the x-axis and lawns mowed on the y-axis. So it says, how many days does it take to mow 30 lawns? So it wants to know days based on 30 lawns. So we have lawns on the y-axis, so I'm going to mark a line across 30 lawns. And we want to see where our line or where one of our points crosses that line. So if we look, 30, we have a point right here, which is along the 4 on the x-axis. So it takes 4 days to mow 30 lawns. The next question says, how many lawns can be mowed in 1 day? So again, we're taking 1 day on the x-axis, marking a line up. If you look at that, I would say that's about 12 or 13 lawns. We can just estimate. Again, when you have the test, you'll have multiple choice, so it'll be a little easier. When it's just fill in the blank like this, we can put 12, you can put 13. Either of those I think would be acceptable answers. All right, so we're going to do one more together. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this one together. So again, we have our X and Y values in our little chart. And so where you want to plot them, our x-axis down at the bottom and our y-axis going vertically. So this one says the first ordered pair is 0 minutes to 56 students, 0 minutes to 56 students right there. And if you look at this, it says that it shows the number of students remaining on the after-school bus, the number of minutes leaving school. So at 0 minutes when you first leave the school, there are 56 students on the bus. 5 minutes goes by and there are 45 students. So 5 minutes goes by, there are 45 students left. 9 minutes goes by and there are 39 students left. So 9 minutes, there are 39 students left. Sorry about that. At 15 minutes, there are 24 students left. So 15, about 24. 23 minutes, there are 17 students left. So 23, 17. And at 26 minutes, there are 6 students left. So 26 is a little actually off this chart. So we're going to put it about right there. So you can kind of see that it makes a line, as time goes by, there are less and less students on the bus because they are leaving and getting off the bus. All right, so it says at 12 minutes, how many students are left on the after-school bus? So we've got about 12 minutes right here, and we can see where it crosses our line. So about 31 students are left on the bus. So you can say 31 students are left on the bus. All right, so I'm going to give you one to do on your own. Let's go ahead and look at this one. So in this scatter plot, it shows the number of bushels filled and the number of apples picked. So we have apples on the x-axis, bushels on the y-axis. The first question says, how many bushels are needed for 350 apples? So apples are on this x-axis. So I'm going to go to 350 right here on that x-axis and see where it crosses. And we have it crossing at 16 bushels. So A is 16 bushels. Then for B, it says how many apples can be placed in 8 bushels. So I'm going to do the opposite. We have bushels on the y-axis. I'm going to make a line all the way across and see where it crosses. So it crosses here, which is about 175 apples. All right, and that'll be it for the scatter plots. In the next one, we'll talk about